You think you know Taxi Driver? Well, here's some things you may not have known about the movie that put Martin Scorsese on the map. We all know the famous paranoid monologue where Robert De Niro says,
"You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?"
Well, did you know that that line came from Bruce Springsteen? Days before his improvised performance, De Niro saw the boss in concert for the release of his hit album, Born to Run. As the audience was screaming his name, Springsteen charmingly said back, "You talking to me?" Paul Schrader, the film's screenwriter, has stated it was one of the best lines in the film and he didn't write it. Maybe Bruce has some screenwriting in his future. Paul Schrader stated that this story was partly autobiographical for him. After a series of unfortunate events, he suffered from a nervous breakdown in Los Angeles. For months, he was homeless, friendless, and unemployed. Schrader would frequently visit porno theaters and developed an obsession with guns. After not being able to break into the industry, he accepted a job as a delivery man and would spend long days driving in his car. His sense of isolation helped to develop Travis Bickle, which subsequently clicked with Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro when they first read the script.
There are other places I can take you, plenty of other movies I can take you to. I don't know much about them, but I can take you to other places.
Which is different.
Wait a second.
I have to go.
No.
I gotta go.
Wait a second. I want to talk to you.
Look,
Don't just
I have to go.
Wait a second.
Taxi?
When moping at a bar one night, Paul Schrader picked up a girl and brought her back to his hotel room. After realizing she was underage, a prostitute, and a junkie, he decided to interview her about her life. In the morning, Paul sent a note to Martin Scorsese stating, "Iris is in my room, we're having breakfast at 9, will you please join us?" After the meeting, the two rewrote the original character of Garth and transformed her into Iris. The real Iris does appear in the movie as Iris's friend, whom Travis nearly hits with his taxi.
I don't like what I'm doing, Sport.
Oh, baby, I never want you to like what you're doing. If you ever liked what you were doing, you wouldn't be my woman.
At the age of 12, Jodie Foster stunned audiences with her performance as a teenage prostitute. Before she was allowed to star in the role, the producers had her meet with a representative of California's Child Welfare Department to ensure she was mature enough for the part. Throughout filming, a child welfare worker would oversee her scenes and make sure she was not on set when things became risque. For any sexier or violent shots in the film, Foster's older sister Connie was hired as a body double to portray the role.
Why do you want me to go back to my parents? I mean, they hate me. Why do you think I split in the first place? There ain't nothing there.
Robert De Niro worked 15-hour days driving cabs in New York City. During this time, De Niro was in Italy filming Bernardo Bertolucci's period drama 1900. He would fly to Manhattan to drive taxis on weekends and then would travel back to Italy to film. Throughout this month-long experience, De Niro was only recognized once by one of his customers. Robert De Niro's legendary Mohawk haircut was inspired by Vietnam veterans. After speaking with soldiers, Schrader had learned that they would shave their heads in a similar manner before they went on commando missions. Their hair signified that they were not to be messed with during battle. Since Taxi Driver was shot out of sequence, De Niro was unable to actually shave his head. Instead, the actor wore a bald cap with a strip of hair pasted on his crew cut.
This is the place to do it. Okay. Take your hand up. Okay, then just leave. Hang on. All right, just leave then. Come on.
I'm gonna tell you, you're
Look,
in a
come
hell.
on.
You're in a hell, and you're gonna die in a hell like the rest
Come
of
on
you.
now. There's a cop across the street.
You're like the rest of them.
Look, I'm calling the cops. Officer!
Legendary composer Bernard Herrmann, who had scored Citizen Kane, Psycho, Cape Fear, and North by Northwest, also did the score for Taxi Driver. Herrmann created the recording sessions himself and finished the night of December 23, 1975. The next morning, Herrmann passed away suddenly in his sleep at the age of 64. That year at the Oscars, he was posthumously nominated for his music. In the summer of 1975, sanitation workers in New York City went on strike. They stated that they would not pick up the trash unless their payroll was increased. The strike left piles of garbage on sidewalks and streets, which all appear and become a central theme in Taxi Driver. Good thing this film did not have smell-o-vision. Taxi Driver was almost given an X rating from the Motion Picture Association of America. During the gorier scenes, Scorsese had to desaturate the color of the blood to make it look less realistic. The outcome caused the blood to look more black and white, which soothed the board and caused the film to get a solid R rating. And here's a bonus one. When De Niro originally signed on to the film, he agreed to be paid only $35,000 for his role. However, from the time he signed to the time they started filming, Robert's fame began to rise as he had won an Oscar for The Godfather Part 2. Producers were scared that the new household name would ask for a pay raise on his first day. Since it was a film created by unknown people at the time, Columbia was looking for any excuse to pull the plug. De Niro honored the original agreement and completed the film.
Is it hard to get to be in the Secret Service?
Why?
Well, I was just curious, because I think I'd be good at it. I'm very observant. I was in the Marine Corps, you know. I'm good with crowds. I noticed a little pin there. That's like a signal, isn't it? Sort of. A signal. A secret signal for the Secret Service.
That's it for this episode of You Think You Know Movies. Make sure to subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the latest movie and TV news on ScreenCrush.com.